Over the last couple months, I've been sharing with you how we build our pantry. We have grown all of the food in the garden together, harvested it all, did all of our preservation, all of the canning and freezing and freeze drying that we do here on our farm. And then I took you on a pantry tour last week, I think it was, and showed you all of that food stored in our pantry. And what I thought I could do today is share with you some of the meals that we make out of our pantry food. It's a lot easier than you might think to cook with pantry food, and even though my entire life seems to revolve around food in one way or another, cooking is not my favorite thing to do. So I do like to find ways to make it really convenient and easy, and actually having a well-stocked pantry, especially with canned goods, makes putting together a healthy meal for my family pretty easy. I'm going to take you along with me over this last week as I made food for my family, and when I am done sharing that with you, we're going to come back and cook a meal here on my cook stove. I like to start out each week with some staples. So I'm making some yogurt here with some of our milk from our milk cow, and I am pasteurizing it. I prefer pasteurized yogurt for, pasteurized milk for yogurt because it makes a thicker yogurt. And then I'm also getting together a batch of bread. This bread recipe is over on my blog. It is such a great recipe, super easy for beginners. I do keep my yeast in the fridge just because it stays fresh longer. And I decided to make it oat and honey bread this morning, so I'm adding a little bit of the honey from our bees. We do store all of our flour bulk in our pantry. It's nice and cool and dry in there. And I think because of our climate, we just don't have issues with bugs or weevils or anything like that in our flour, so I can store it this way and have it last for up to a year, which is fantastic. So now just getting this bread together, adding a little bit of salt to it. I buy my oats in bulk, and so I always have lots on hand. We use lots of oats throughout the week in all different kinds of recipes. And back down to the pantry to grab some almonds and some coconut oil for making some granola. This recipe here is in the Little Mountain Ranch Family Cookbook, but you can take a screenshot of it here if you'd like to try it. The melted butter in this recipe is definitely just one of the things that makes it such a good recipe. And then a bunch of those slivered almonds, really not a lot. I did add a little bit of maple syrup to this that I didn't show here, just to add a little bit of sweetener. And into the oven at 400 degrees. I make sure I stir this. I actually set my alarm because I end up burning it otherwise every time. So I set the alarm for every 5 minutes or so and stir it up. And now I let it cool off before I put it into my canister. And then this will give us enough granola to last us the week. Now it's time to get my bread formed. And friends, if you have ever had a hard time making bread, please do try this recipe. It is so easy and so delicious, and you can add different things to it to change the flavor. Sometimes I add whole wheat flour, a little bit of a mix between whole wheat and the white flour, but this one's just the white flour with the oats and the honey. That spray bottle that you can see there, I always get asked about it, so I'll tell you I got it from Amazon, and it's Olivia is the name. Now I am just putting together my yogurt. So I have let the milk that I boiled, remember with the Instant Pot, I have let it cool down. You don't want to add hot milk to your yogurt to make your yogurt, or to whatever culture you're using, because you will kill it. And I'm just adding a tablespoon of our favorite yogurt. We love the Kirkland yogurt from Costco. It's just so thick and it makes such a good homemade yogurt. So I'm just topping my jars off and then giving them a stir. And these will actually go into my dehydrator at 110 degrees Fahrenheit for around 24 hours. And you'll see the next day how nice and thick the yogurt gets. Now this will give us bread to last us the week for sandwiches or with soup, whatever we decide to use it for. Now we're on to the next morning, and I'm putting together one of our favorite breakfasts. So this is the yogurt that I made the day before, and you can see how nice and thick that yogurt is. And I'm going to top the yogurt with a little bit of that homemade granola and my favorite syrup that I made this year, which is a raspberry Saskatoon syrup. Absolutely delicious. So I add lots of it to my yogurt. And then for a little added crunch, I've added some freeze-dried raspberries from the garden and a touch of maple syrup, which I really didn't need to add because of the sweetness of the other syrup, but it added that maple flavor, which I love. And back down to the pantry, I decided to make pulled pork. We had a really busy day this day, so I wanted to make something that was really easy. And you're going to see when I put this together how easy it is to make. So I'm just grabbing some canned pork. This is just plain pork and some homemade barbecue sauce. And all I do, oh, I also grabbed a jar of onions. So these are canned onions in beef broth. I'll just add my onions, and I think that had a little bit of garlic in there too, my homemade barbecue sauce, and then I am adding a splash of Worcestershire sauce. This just adds a little bit of depth of flavor to the barbecue, but because Worcestershire sauce has fish in it, it's not safe to can with it, so I add it after the fact. Now just draining out some of the liquid from the pork, and that will be going to my dogs, who absolutely love that. We just soak their kibble in that. And then we mix this up and let it simmer, and then it's done and ready to go. So down to my root cellar, I did decide I wanted to make a coleslaw to go with our pulled pork sandwiches. So I grabbed some carrots and a cabbage from the root cellar, and I decided that the next day I was going to make some poutine. So I also grabbed myself a box of potatoes from the root cellar as well. And up to the kitchen to get everything washed and cut up and ready to go. I love my root cellar because at least this time of year, the food that comes out of the root cellar tastes just as good as it does when it comes fresh out of the garden. And these cabbages are holding up really well in the root cellar. This is a red acre cabbage, isn't it beautiful? So we like to add carrots, and I also decided to add some of the salad topper that I bought from Costco. I showed that in my Costco haul that I shared, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I love adding it to salad, and I just decided when I was making this, I wanted to add a little extra protein to the salad. And I remembered I had that down in the pantry, so I grabbed it and added it, and it was so good. It also has cranberries in it, so it added a little bit of sweetness. And then I also made the dressing with some of the mayonnaise that we bought. And this apple cider vinegar, you can see here, I got this at Costco, and it is my favorite apple cider vinegar. It's so good. This is the salad topper that I was talking about. It was really, really good in this coleslaw. I definitely recommend making coleslaw early if you can, and keeping it in the fridge just to let the flavors meld. So now I'm just making a quick batch of dinner rolls so that I can serve the pulled pork on top of some dinner rolls. This is a really quick recipe, it comes together really fast. I'll link it for you down in the show notes. And even though I use my Anchor Shrimp mixer to do most of my kneading, I do like to finish off my bread products with a little bit of a hand knead. I find it just helps everything come together.
Good, you didn't make it back. See you go by.
I made it back. Now it's time to get the pulled pork all put together. So I decided to serve this with some canned pickled carrots as well. So we have the coleslaw, and I also decided to give my beet relish that I made this really awesome beet relish with ginger. I do have a video on that from about a month ago, and it's delicious. So I decided to try it on the pulled pork, and it tasted so good.
Hey guys, dinner time!
And this is definitely a dinner that our family really enjoys. So we're on to the next day now to make my poutine. So this is squeaky cheese. We buy this at Costco. If you can't get your hands on some squeaky cheese, then you can use mozzarella. A mix of mozzarella and cheddar is really good in poutine. So poutine is a French-Canadian recipe and one that we love. So basically what it is fries topped with squeaky cheese and gravy. We also sometimes add bacon, which we did on this night, into the recipe. So good, absolutely delicious, and this is a kid favorite. So if you want to make your kids happy or your grandkids happy, this is an awesome recipe. And I didn't show making the gravy here, but I just used some of my canned chicken broth, added a little bit of flour to it. I think I added a little bit of better than bouillon to it as well, and made a really quick gravy to go on top of this poutine. And friends, such a good recipe. We love it. Okay, we are now down in the pantry. Sorry, the lighting down here for filming is terrible. We're going to grab 4 quarts of our chili base here. So this has the onions and the peppers, although I think I'll add some extra peppers, all in it, along with the sauce and all of the seasonings. So all I need to do now is grab some of my canned beans. I'm going to use a couple jars, or actually I'll just use 1 quart of canned corn. And then I am also going to fry up some ground beef, which I have defrosting upstairs right now. Now we'll grab our box and bring it up to the kitchen. You hear the fire crackling. Come on, Nella. Come on. Good girl. So this is what I like to call homestead fast food, because it is going to take me no time at all to throw all this stuff into a pot. So my ground beef, pan's nice and hot already. And all I'm going to do here is get this ground beef cooked up, and then I'll add everything else to the pot and just let it slow cook so all the flavors can meld, and then it's done. So it really does not take long. Okay, now we're gonna add our rinsed kidney beans, some canned corn, and then all of our chili starter. And it smells so good already because it already has all the seasonings in it. So now I'm just going to let this simmer for a little bit. I have also mixed up a really simple batch of cornbread, and we are going to cook it in this antique corn stick pan. I love cooking with this. The trick with cooking on a stick pan like this is to have your pan smoking hot. So you want it to sizzle. When you add your fat, you can add lard, bacon grease, butter like I'm doing. So I like to have mine cooking on the stove top here for a little bit before I pop it in the oven, and then I pop it in the oven for about 10 minutes until they're golden. So this is what a corn stick looks like. It holds together really well. You can actually use it for scooping in your chili if you like. But one of the things that most people love about these is that if you are someone who enjoys the crispy bits around the outside of cornbread, this has the entire bottom and the edges all the way around each piece crispy like that. So it's really, really good. Absolutely love these. We'll give our chili a try here. This has been cooling off for a while because it was so hot coming off the stove. One of the things that I love about making food with canned food from my pantry is even though this hasn't been cooking all day, it has that flavor of a slow cooked meal. I love cooking on my wood cook stove when it's cold. We do have a wood furnace and it does a good job of keeping our house warm, but this keeps the house cozy. It smells good. You can hear the crackling of the fire and I absolutely love it. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.